Welcome back. Flying under most folks' radar these days is a freshly filed multi-billion-dollar lawsuit lodged by the Environmental Protection Agency against the city of Houston. Triggered by the advocacy group Bayou City Waterkeepers, the lawsuit alleges gross neglect by the city has resulted in more than 9,000 sewer spills over the past 5 years, polluting local waterways and threatening human health. Tomaro Bell, you have some personal experience with this one, right?
Yes, that's actually happened at my home back in '98. So the fact that this is coming out, that they're now categorizing how bad it's gotten over the last 5 years. I live in a historical community, and when I saw the extreme economic injustice, most of these communities are minorities and low income where this is happening. And that this has happened, I'm not talking about the current administration. This has been going on for decades. But I'm so proud that the EPA is stepping in, because if what was supposed to be done with Rebuild Houston had been done, which was supposed to be worse first, then they wouldn't be in this situation. Because the people who are experiencing this are the people who can least afford to handle the damage, and not including the unseen decades later for being in waste in your house and around your children, the ramifications to come. So I'm glad it's happening.
Go ahead, Nyanza.
So when you think about dioxin, and Greg, you have shined a light on this so well. You know, you have to think about the Passaic River in New Jersey, you have to think about Houston, you have to think about Flint, Michigan, any type of water issues. The EPA is now stepping up, and if the EPA has to step in and defend the citizens locally, we always say that we don't want the feds coming in and bothering us. We always want to say keep local politics local. Well, at this time, we need the feds to protect the citizens that can't afford to protect themselves. And if this were River Oaks, or if this were Memorial, this would not be a topic, because those citizens out there would have a voice heard. But when you're poor and when you're uneducated and when you've for years and decades been downtrodden upon, no one speaks for you. So here for the EPA that still doesn't have a leader, like Bob said.
Bell, how serious an issue is this? I mean, do the rating agencies look at potential liability like this?
Yeah, so this is a very serious problem, and I want to emphasize this is a problem that the Turner administration inherited. This is not something that they are in any way participating in causing. We were first found to be in violation of the Clean Water Act, I think in 1986, and we've had a rolling series of consent agreements that we're going to improve it, we never end up doing what we're supposed to. Folks, this is like a $5 to $10 billion problem. This is bigger than the pension problem was. And what this basically is that our sanitary sewer, this is not storm sewer, this is what you flush down your toilet. That stuff is leaking out into the environment because our system is so terrible. And the truth of the matter is the city of Houston is the biggest polluter in this region now because of our terrible sewer system. We've got to get on top of this and do something about it.
Okay, we're going to keep an eye on it. In another environmental development, there's breaking news on those toxic sludge pits located just feet from West Bay near Galveston Island. Documents obtained by Fox 26 confirm the dumping of dioxin and other lethal contaminants was completely bankrolled by a governmental entity known as the Gulf Coast Waste Disposal Authority. Those same documents confirm that the authority pledged to store only non-hazardous waste at the site, a pledge we now know is clearly broken given test results which show alarming levels of dioxin stored near the water. Why does it matter? Because it's not a private corporation solely responsible for this irresponsible dumping. It's our local governments, Harris County, Galveston County, Chambers County, the city of Houston, and others, all part of the Gulf Coast Authority.
We're talking about neurotoxins, carcinogens, things that we know are incredibly unsafe at very small levels. Today, we know that a few of the 32 pits contain extremely high levels of dioxin and furans, and I don't believe that the due diligence has been done on this site. From all of the materials I've reviewed, looks like the ball's been dropped.
Bob Price, what's your point?
First off, congratulations on a series of great reports on this topic and the previous topic. There is an appropriate role for the federal government and EPA, and this is clearly that situation. Nyanza scooped me on my point here of the EPA is running without an administrator at this point. The previous administrator, Scott Pruitt, resigned. The deputy administrator is acting in the role. He was confirmed by the Senate just 3 months earlier as deputy director, and yet they won't even have a hearing to confirm him and move him forward as the acting director. We need this issue fixed, and if our county government and city governments are implicit and involved in that, we need to take a serious look at those people and make some changes, because this is not acceptable for any government level, and the feds should step in here and get this fixed.
I want to be clear, the state of Texas, TCEQ, says that it's safely contained, although I don't know what can be safely contained against a Category 4 storm. Go ahead, Tony.
Now, let's put it this way. Let's make it clear. Poisonous pits paid for by the people. That makes no sense at all. I don't want a poisonous pit in my backyard. I don't want to contribute to it. The industry is watching. If we can get away with this business as usual, all of our environment's at risk. And this is something that has generational effects. Like, we don't even know how this is spread cancer or different deformities already. So this is really a travesty that needs to be addressed right away.
Okay, let me say real quick. Let me real quick. We're talking about dioxin, and I don't think anybody really knows the effects of it, but I did a little bit of research, and dioxins cause reproductive and developmental problems, damage the immune system, interfere with hormones, and also cause cancer.
Terrible.
So this is what is in your water, and this is what is in your food. This is something that's not just going to affect us on this stage, but our children and our children's children. So.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to make the same point. Dioxin is very, very bad stuff. It's a very powerful carcinogen, and it stays in the environment for a long time. It takes a long time to break down. Look, this was something when I was on the gubernatorial commission and we studied Ike and the potential effects on that. This was the single thing that scared me the most. And it's not just these sites. There's a bunch of them all over this area. If we get a Category 5 storm that comes through Freeport and really inundates this area, what does it do? It washes all this stuff out into the environment. That's why we've got to get off our butts and do something about protecting this region from a Category 5 storm.
Go ahead, Tim.
This reminds me, I'm so glad and I'm so proud of you for bringing this out. In Fifth Ward, they have a serious problem with Kearsarge from the railroads and the dumping over there. There are parts of Fifth Ward, now I'm not talking about out of state, I'm talking about inside the city, where when they run their water and turn it on, it's brown.
Wow.
I mean, I'm talking today, right now, today, and it's because no one has ever cleaned up the waste that has been there from those railroad tracks being there for decades. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Okay, Jess, any thoughts on this?
I cannot agree more with everything the panel has said.
Okay, all right, we're going to leave it there. Still ahead, our panel is going to answer that question, what did we miss? So stay with us.